I mean, like I say, I'm 72. I'd given up. I just thought, well, the rest of my life, I'm going to be tired and dragging around and wearing big, fluffy clothes. Those are all gone, by the way. Who is that? I never thought I would be slim again. And that's just really something. But to other people, I would say it really, really works and you're worth it. And that, for me to hear that, it's like I put everybody else first. I don't put myself first. But sometimes you have to, especially if you've got small children. If you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of them? And I think any money that we spent on your program, we've saved 10 times over at the grocery store.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show. I'm Dr. Ashley, and today I am so excited to have one of our very own PhD clients on the show. Her name is Ceil Humphreys. She's 72 years old, and she dropped over 35 pounds. And not only that, she reversed many chronic diseases, including severe sleep apnea, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please excuse the quality of the video. For some reason, there was a lag in time between Ceil's voice and the video. But she drops so many great tips and tricks on mindset and things that helped her drop weight that I'm sure will help you on your own weight loss journey. So it's definitely worth listening to and watching. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Ceil Humphreys to the show. I am so honored to have you here.
I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I would love for you to share with us what drove you to specifically start the PhD program. What was your why?
My why was my health and my weight, and I wasn't happy with the way I looked. But the driving force behind this was my husband, Wesley. And so we had both gained weight. We weren't obese or anything, but we were bigger than we wanted to be. And we were eating pretty healthy, I thought, at the time. And we couldn't seem to lose weight. And Wesley's real active physically, plays handball and takes long walks. And I take naps. But anyway, and he had a little tummy, and he's never had a little tummy. And I was wearing big, blousy kind of tops to hide everything. And I think we both just gave up and thought, well, that's just how it's going to be. And plus, I was diabetic. My doctor had doubled my medicine. I had high blood pressure. I was on 2 different kinds of blood pressure medicine. And I had severe sleep apnea, which that's another story because I never thought that would go away. That was a big surprise. And so
Was it?
my goal, I wanted to just reduce some of the medicine I was on. I don't like being on that much medicine. And so Wesley had heard about your program for the last year. I didn't know this, on talk radio. And so one day he came home and he said, I want to do this. Do you want to do it too? And I have to tell you, I was very skeptical, very, very skeptical. So I watched all your videos. I read everything that was available to read. And so he said, I'm going to do it. And I thought, I don't want him getting all nice and slim looking. And
That's right.
So then we looked in the cost, and he's an accountant, so Wesley doesn't part with his money easily. But he said, what's our health worth? So I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And I was still very skeptical because there are 2 testimonials that stick in my mind. One was the guy who was the truck driver. Remember him?
Chris,
and he's driving the truck and somehow figuring out how to lose weight. And the other was the lady in the wheelchair. And so I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm not driving a truck and I'm not in a wheelchair. There's no reason not to. So we signed up, and that's how we got started. And
how has it gone?
Well, it's funny because every week on this journey has been different. And the funny thing is, the emails that you send, it's like, somehow she knows what I'm going through this week, And so there'd be times I'd be discouraged, but so many of the things that y'all say, that really help with your mindset. We'll talk more about that later. But one of the first things that you said was picture yourself how you're going to look, you know. And so I thought, okay. And somehow my brain, that made it seem doable because I didn't have a whole lot of faith that this was going to work because nothing else ever had for very long. And what's in your refrigerator? And so, like, all these foods I'm kind of hanging on to for later, like, those have to go. And so, clean out the refrigerator, clean out the pantry, and all that. And so, there have been things like that along the way that really helped with my mindset.
Mhm.
Some days it'd just be like, oh, I just can't keep doing this. I miss this food or I miss that food. But
Mhm.
then I thought, well, if I quit, that certainly isn't going to get me where I want to go. And I'll talk more about Sherry, my counselor, but she's amazing. I did not think I needed a counselor. I'm all independent. I can do this by myself. I never realized the value of having a really good, positive, encouraging counselor. So whenever I'd
Mhm.
be in a rocky place, Sherry would get me through it every time. And since then, my sister and her husband are on this, and Sherry's their counselor too. So we
Oh,
all
that's
compare
great.
this with each other. I said, no, you got to ask for Sherry. She's great. She's never one time been negative or
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't have done that. But I like what you say about it's not your fault because I thought,
Mhm.
this isn't my fault. I was doing what I thought was the right thing to do, what I'd been taught,
Mhm.
the food pyramid and all of that stuff. And you've got to have all these grains and things. And so little by little, I started to see, well, it wasn't little by little, it was actually quicker than I ever dreamed.
That's right.
Started to see progress. So, progress in the weight loss, but the biggest thing was I was taking my glucose levels every day, my blood pressure every day. And all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, I was seeing significant change.
Did that
And
surprise you?
yes, yes, because I thought, well, maybe one day down the road in the far future, it'll get a little bit better. But
Mhm.
because I'm telling you, I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to do before, and my A1C kept going up, more medicine and all of that. And so that started fueling what I was doing. So I wanted to lose weight, I wanted to look good, but that became my huge motivation when I saw, wow, this works. And so within a few weeks, I was seeing big progress. And eventually, and another thing I like about your program is I had to have my doctor's permission to do this. So both of them
Yeah.
did. And I'll tell you this, my endocrinologist said, I'm signing off on this because she's a registered dietitian.
Mhm.
She said anybody can be a nutritionist, but she's a registered dietitian. So I'm going to
Oh,
trust
that's
her.
good.
And I had my follow-up appointment a few weeks ago, and I was so excited. Like,
I know, I wish I could have
look
been
at
there with
me.
you.
With her blessing, I asked her, I want to reduce my medicine when we first started. And she said it was her goal to get all of her patients off of medicine. So
That sounds
hit
like a
that
good
goal.
doctor.
Yes, I love her. I think the takeaway from this is I really wanted to do the right thing and eat the right thing, but I didn't know how. And even if
Mhm.
you go to websites that tell you for diabetes what to eat, what not to eat, it's not correct.
That's
I
right.
guess that's the best way I know to say it. And the thing I like the most about your program, I'm a retired teacher, so I want to know why on everything,
Mhm.
is you explain so well, like with the glycemic index and that kind of thing. Here's what this food does to you. And not
Mhm.
in a negative way, but like here's what you do and here's the result. And so when I would choose to eat something or not to eat something, I knew why. And it was an informed decision. So
That's
I
right.
felt like I'm a partner in this. I don't have somebody saying, no, you can't have that.
Hmm.
Wesley used to like to have a drink at night, and I like to snack at night. That had to
Hmm.
go, but I understood why. Like, well, do I want to get where I'm going, or do I want this snack tonight? And so
Hmm.
and you feel good about, I made a good decision. But when he learned about what alcohol does and that kind of
Hmm.
thing, then it's like, I'll give that up. He's on maintenance now, so every now and then he'll have a drink, and it's
Sure.
like, you're not feeling guilty. Like, I know this is an informed decision.
That's
So
right.
I super appreciate the educational part of what you do, the why. And again, it's not like I'm being a rebellious child and I'm going to eat this anyway. This
Hmm.
is my body and my health, and I'm making good decisions based on true information to get where I want to go. And I made it. So here I
That's
am.
right. Hey guys, just a quick reminder about GlucoCut Plus, my specially formulated supplement to support your metabolism throughout your fat loss journey. With patented ingredients, it aids in consistent weight loss and boosts energy by supporting your thyroid, burning fat, and maintaining lean muscle mass. Weight loss can stress your body, but I created GlucoCut Plus to have your back. Visit drashleywellness.com and use code Ashley10 for 10% off your first purchase or 20% off your first subscription order with free shipping. Plus, enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee. Back to the show. What was some of the most interesting things that you learned that were just surprising to you, where you thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea? Or
I had no idea I'd ever get off my CPAP machine. That wasn't even on the radar. And I had no idea I'd be totally off of all my medicines. I wanted to cut them in half. That was my
Mhm.
goal. Your video about the CPAP hadn't come out yet, so I
Yes, that's
didn't.
so funny. That just came
Yeah.
out.
And what wife wants to lie in bed with something over your face, but I
Yeah.
had very severe sleep apnea, and that was fueling my high blood pressure. And
Right.
I'd have the horrible dreams. I wake up like this. So one night I'm thinking, I don't think I need this thing. I'm going to give it one night and not
Mhm.
use this. And I slept great. And then the next one, it's like, I'm going to try again. After about a week, I packed that thing up, and it's in the closet. I don't have to drag it around when I travel. I don't have to lie there. You wake up with this
Mhm.
stuff on your face and all
That's
that.
right.
That was a huge surprise. I started out at like a size 12 to 14, large, and was always wearing things, big to cover everything up.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, if I could get down to a 10, I'll be so happy, like a 10. Woo! And
Yeah.
so the day came where my 12 stuff didn't fit, went out and bought a 10. Within a couple of weeks, I was out buying an 8. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, the 8 didn't fit, and I bought a 6. That was a shocker to me
Mhm.
because I'm 72 years old. I didn't think I would ever get back to a small size. And buying size small is just the biggest thrill in the world. And so I've been taking up a lot of things too. But so our next step is, when tax season is over, Wesley's a tax accountant.
Yeah.
We're headed to the gym, and we're going to start firming things up.
I
And
love
so
that
that's our
plan.
next step.
At 72 years old, you put your type 2 diabetes into remission, reversed high
Mhm.
blood pressure, and sleep apnea
Mhm.
in a matter of weeks, really.
Really, I
Hmm.
couldn't believe how fast that happened. Really, and I've calmed down a lot. I tend to, like, I'm retired now, so that means I volunteer all the time. So there are a lot of
Okay.
different places I volunteer, things I'm in charge of. So it's always like, go, 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 go. I finished that, now I got to do that. And Sherry's been real good with that, because some weeks, and I'm sure I'm not telling anything you don't already know, it'd be like for 2 weeks, I would be to the 10th of a pound, the exact same thing. And then all of
Hmm.
a sudden, boom, off would come a pound and a half. It was like stair steps. Not at first, but later, and I would just get so like, what am I doing? And so Sherry was really good with helping me to let go of my stress. And she's always saying, trust the process, and those things just go through your brain. And she's the one who said, Ceil, you got to take some time for yourself. I have a beautiful yard out there, beautiful butterflies everywhere, bees and all that. And she said, you got to go sit and watch the sunset. So I do that almost every day. I just sit out there, calm down, look at God's beautiful creation, watch the butterflies dancing around. That's been huge for me because I'm not somebody who just stops and relaxes much. So I love Sherry. I think she's
Sherry loves
wonderful.
you too. I just chatted with her yesterday and she said she
Oh,
just, you're a friend to her. So she really
if
appreciates
I'm
it.
ever up in South Carolina, I'm taking a detour to go see her
You
because
better.
she's been a lot, and I understand it takes a whole lot to get to be a counselor with your program, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that because her level of professionalism is great, but her positivity, which I see in you and your videos and things too, for me that resonates with me is the positive and the encouragement to have somebody come alongside. And like I say, I didn't think I needed a counselor. I can do this myself. And now I'm in
Mm-hmm.
maintenance. I'm going to really miss Sherry a lot. She's been
Well, you
wonderful.
can still chat with her if you need her. We're always here for you. So will you talk about the impact stress had on your weight loss? Do you feel like when you were super stressed, did it slow things? And then what are the
Absolutely.
tips that you would tell us to help that?
Well, I had this huge meltdown one day a couple of months
Mhm.
ago. And you know how, and I'm sure you have this too, and you've got small children. My children are grown up, so I'm not even dealing with that. But it's like I've got to do this, and all of a sudden something else gets added to it, and you kind of hit a breaking point. So I was
Mhm.
out running errands. It was time for my appointment with Sherry. There's a store where I'm a vendor, and I was sitting in the parking lot, almost in tears. I mean, just feeling like, and I had not lost any weight in 2 weeks, and I knew I
Mhm.
wasn't on a real plateau yet. I've read all of that, but it was very frustrating. Like
Mhm.
I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've stuck with the program. Why isn't this weight coming off? And so I can still see me sitting in that car in Florida with the windows up. Like it's hot in here, just almost in tears. And Sherry just calmed me down and said, Ceil, first of all, she said, you got to learn how to say no to things. And I've been
Mhm.
hearing that my whole life. I'm not good at saying no to things, especially good things. Um, and she said, you've just got to let go of that stress. You just have to take a deep breath, just let go. And she said, trust the process and it'll happen. And
Mhm.
so I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. If the weight comes off, fine. If it doesn't, fine.
Mhm.
I'm not going to just be looking at that scale every day. So about a day or two later, I get on the scale and there went a pound and a half. Just
I
like,
know. The minute
I,
you can release it, the
and
weight
a lot
releases
of
too.
times I feel like every single thing in all your videos, I feel like I'm the textbook case of that. Like, oh yeah, that happened for me. That happened for me. And it really, really works. And
Mhm.
so all these people have noticed, like, Ceil, you're disappearing, and what are you doing? And I tell them. And so there's another couple from our church who's doing PhD right
Oh,
now too.
awesome.
And so, anybody who wants to know, I tell them because when you look around at all these people carrying so much
Mhm.
weight. And so here's a funny story about that. Maybe halfway through my weight loss, I was doing a craft with a bunch of kids and we were painting rocks. And so I had to go to Lowe's or somewhere and buy this big bag of rocks. Actually, I bought two of them. And I'm carrying them in. They weighed 30 pounds. I'm carrying around 30 pounds of rocks. And all of a sudden I realized, like, that's what my body's carrying around. no wonder my knees hurt all the time. I'm carrying around a bag of rocks around my body. And that
Mm-hmm.
made it very real to me, because a pound or two at a time doesn't seem like a lot. But when you add it up, and people were carrying even more than that, what is that doing to your knees and your hips? And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
real glad I'm not carrying around that bag of rocks
That's right.
anymore. I've lost 35 pounds. And, and,
Congratulations.
and
That's
Wesley
amazing.
has a lot of inflammation, and he's
Yeah.
athletic, and he plays handball. So he wants to be able to, get down and scoop up those balls and all that. And that was one of the main reasons he wanted to do it. And he has seen a decrease in his inflammation. It's not
Mm-hmm.
all done. He does have some arthritis and things like that, but
Yeah.
he's very happy with the inflammation. And I know from a cancer standpoint of view, sugar is so bad for your immune system, and
Mm-hmm.
inflammation is so bad. So I think down the road, that's a very good thing for our health too. I
Yeah.
probably got way off track of what you asked,
No,
but
you're great, Ceil. I think another remarkable thing is that you did this at home, right? From the comfort of your own home through
yes.
calls with Sherry.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think a lot of people have an idea that they need to be at a location or something like that. But our nationwide at home clients, just like you, Ceil, have even greater success than our local ones for some reason. I think because of the unique ties that we make with our coaches and our counselors, they
Yeah.
really do impact our success.
And I appreciate you offering that service too. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
You had shoulder pain as you were going through the program. Can you talk to that and how you managed those challenging weeks when we already
Yeah.
talked about stress, but you were also in pain?
I think the way that happened was somewhere down the road when I was doing my walking, and I'd walk with those little weights on my wrist.
Uh
So
huh.
one day I decided, hey, I'm going to really do it. So I get these 3 pound weights, and the whole time I'm just walking, doing this. And I didn't warm up. And I think I pulled something. Like, I don't know. That's my theory anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've been dealing with that, and it goes all the way down to here. And I've been to my chiropractor a lot. But so
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I found was when you're dealing with stress or inflammation or some kind of injury, your body goes to that instead of to helping you lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped me understand a lot. If I would feel like I was stuck for a little while, like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's going on. So again, that gets back to the educational aspect of what you're doing, that
Mm-hmm.
you understand your body and what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and metabolism and that kind of thing that I never totally knew. I think that day I talked to Sherry when I was just like, "Roar." And if you get a massage at your chiropractor, it's not like a spa. You
Yeah.
walk out there feeling like you've been hit by a truck or something, but it's doing what it needs to do, but it's getting all those points. And she said, Ceil, you need to go get a massage, just a happy, relaxing, where you don't walk out of there feeling, beat up massage. And she said, you got to promise me you're going to do that. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I did, and it was great. And she said, you got to do this once a month. So I need to call and make another appointment.
Yeah,
But,
you do. There's so many
oh,
messages through various
yes.
avenues guiding you to reduce your stress.
And I always think of stress as like, oh no, this horrible thing happened. I feel like I
Mhm.
lead a very happy life. It's just I'm
Yeah.
busy. And I like being busy. And I'll tell you what, here goes another thing from all the testimonies. I've got more energy than I've ever had in my life at
Yeah.
72. I mean, at 10 or 11 o'clock, I'm still going strong, but when I probably ought to be in bed. But I can do the things I want to do. And very rarely does it ever feel like, oh, this is way too much. So even happy things can be stressful. That's what I
Yeah, that's
learned. I
right.
always thought stress was in like if something bad happened, but I'm learning to slow down. And I'll tell you, just I got this nice little bench out. I'm looking at my yard out the window, and I just sit on that in the evening and I just watch the sun go down. That is amazing.
So,
Okay.
really quickly, what's the one most surprising thing you learned about nutrition? where you just maybe mind blown a little bit?
You hear, oh, fruit is so good for you. I love fruit. I mean, so I would buy a thing of blackberries, come home and wash it, eat the entire thing. And I know blackberries are good, but it just tastes so good. Mangoes, I could eat 3 mangoes in a day. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
at the grocery store, I'd buy that little thing of mango puree. Oh, this is healthy. This is good for you. And I realized fruit is okay in moderation, but you don't go berserk with it. And the
Mm-hmm.
taste was so good. And what you say about it being addictive is 100% true. I think the thing that has surprised me the most is I don't crave any of that stuff anymore. So
Yeah.
again, that was in the testimonials, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And it's true. I absolutely don't crave that stuff. Um, I've got strawberries growing in my yard. They're about that big. They're so little,
That's
but
right.
I eat one of those. It's like, well, this is good, but I don't feel like I've got to go, and eat a bunch. I'm just introducing all of that back in now that I'm on maintenance. And so things don't tempt me like they used to. I've learned
Mm-hmm.
to, first of all, don't have it in the house, and then you're not thinking about it. But Wesley and I both agree this is the first diet we've been on that we can do the rest of our lives. We like
Yeah.
eating this way. We're very satisfied with what we're eating, and it's not hard at all. You get in a little rhythm, you learn what to buy at the grocery store. My grocery bills are so much less than they used to be because I'm not buying junk and chips and things like that. Eating out is easy because we know what we can have and what we can't, and instead of the baked potato we get vegetables, that kind of thing. That surprised me. It surprises me that I'm not wanting to go back to the old way of eating, not just because I don't want to gain the weight, but it's like that does not hold a fascination for me anymore. So a
Mm.
little bit of fruit with berries. Like as we've lost weight, we burned our bridges. So there are no fat clothes in my closet in case they they're gone. I've given them all away. And I don't ever expect to gain back. And so even if I wanted those foods real badly, I'm really liking fitting in the clothes that I'm fitting in and
Mhm.
feeling healthy. So that surprised me. The cappuccino, oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
I make that into a
You like
shake in
that?
the morning. I still have some cappuccino left, and I love that stuff. So
It is good. I like the
I
hot
used
chocolate.
my weakness used to be when I'd be busy running errands, drive through Chick-fil-A, get a frosted coffee. I loved
Mm.
those things. And this is better than a frosted coffee. And if I'm driving by there, it's like, I don't have to get a frosted coffee because I got something better at home.
That's right.
So
I
that
love that.
food has really helped me a lot. And we're pretty much on our food now from now
Yeah.
on.
And we give you substitutions for all foods so you can go to any grocery store or order
Mm-hmm.
online and get what you
Yeah.
need. I love
Yeah.
that you mentioned the berries. Just a little educational point I wanted to share with everyone listening is that, the berries that we get or the fruit that we get that's local, it's just so different than the stuff we buy from the grocery store, isn't it? Like you said, the strawberries are the size of the tip of your thumb rather than the size of a big golf ball. They're only
Mm-hmm.
available for a certain time during the year. So eating seasonally is a really healthy approach to the way that really our bodies naturally are meant to consume food. So, Ceil, for
Mm-hmm.
you, I mean, how long do you have those strawberries that are available to you in your garden?
Well, in Florida, usually the strawberries are done by now. They're
Mm.
they're a February thing.
Okay,
But
so
I mean
February,
these
March, 3 months,
yeah,
2 months.
well, and there's still a bunch of them on there. So
Oh,
I've got blueberries, I've got blackberries out there,
mhm.
Florida peaches, which are about that big. So,
Yeah,
when I go to pick them, you just get a small handful. So it's not
right.
like you can overeat too.
Yeah.
But they're delicious and
Hmm.
stuff that I've grown, and I know it doesn't have pesticides in it or anything
Yeah.
like that. And you
It's
can't
smaller,
overeat.
it's seasonal. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if we think about that, eating locally, eating with the season, it just makes sense. Ceil, why did you choose to go with PhD rather than say, there's so many weight loss clinics popping up left and right, especially right now with these injections and these drugs. Why not go the drug route? Why do it without?
I avoid drugs at all cost, and that was one reason I wanted to get off. I was on the blood pressure medicine because I did not want to have a stroke. Two of my
Yeah.
sisters have died from strokes. So it's like, okay, I'll do it. The metformin I was on because I didn't want to lose my legs, and I thought, okay, I have to do this. So I am never going to do injections or medicine to lose weight. Just not going to happen. I like things natural. I want to do things the way they should be done. But the whole reason we went with PhD, I had not heard of it, but Wesley listens to sports talk radio in the morning on the way to work. And I call it sports gossip, but
Yeah.
anyhow, and he had been hearing about it and a lot and from people that he respected. And so this was 100% his idea because, like I say, I was very skeptical, very.
Hmm.
And he said, well, I'm going to do it. And I thought, I can't let him get all good looking and me be overweight. I got to keep up with him. And us doing it together was just, I can't tell you how much that helped us both to be successful. Because
Hmm.
if I had to cook one thing for me and something else for him, there were certain foods he liked better than I liked, but it was very convenient. But we encouraged each other. He's been very encouraging. So, like when I weigh in the morning, I'll text him my weight, and, that kind of
Oh,
thing. And
yeah.
so he's been very supportive of me, and that's meant a lot. And I've tried to be supportive of him. He lost his way before I did, which
I
we
know.
already
That's
knew he
usually what
would.
happens.
Yeah. And so he's just so happy. I've been taking up his pants and taking him up his file. And it's like, look, you just got to go buy new pants. I
Yeah,
can't
that's
take
right.
them up anymore. And
After tax season, go take them shopping, Ceil.
oh, absolutely. And we're going on a trip this summer. So I had thought, oh, I'm just going to be slugging around like on all these walking things. And now it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so I am getting cute little dresses and things like that for
Good.
this trip.
Let's talk about vitamin G. What is that?
Okay. Well, so um, I'm a Christian and I like to thank God for things very much. So when I was watching that video and it goes vitamin G, I'm thinking, I hadn't heard of vitamin G before. I got to find out about this. And then he goes, you can't buy it in the store. And then I'm thinking, okay, is this like vitamin D? I go sit out there and soak it up. And then he said it was gratitude. And I thought that not just in weight loss, in life, that is huge. Because
Mhm.
somebody just said this past week, like, oh, Ceil, you're a glass half full kind of person. And I've tried to be that way. Like, there's
Mhm.
so many ways you can make yourself miserable, just
Yeah.
miserable. And, but there's always good stuff to look for. And so
Mhm.
I think just in life to look for, okay, well, this bad thing happened, but what good thing has happened? And so that leads me to you because
Mhm.
my favorite verse in the Bible is Romans 8:28 that probably a lot of people know. It says, for God causes all things to work together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so every time I hear your story and what you went through and your struggles and how you took that and you turn it into something good for yourself, but for others, including me, I see how God took that in your life and used it for good. And not just for you, but all your clients and anybody, hopefully, who's listening to this video, that I am so appreciative. And So when I'm thanking God for people, I'm thanking God for you and your staff,
Mm.
because it's been a life-changing thing for Wesley and me both. And again, not just the weight. The weight is really secondary. It's the health. And so whatever time I've got left on this earth, I want it to be healthy and productive. And that's why I don't say no to anything either. But that's my vitamin G for you, because, and I tell
Mm.
this to Sherry all the time, you guys are using your gifts and talents and abilities to be a blessing to others. And that's a big, big thing. And I've been a big beneficiary of that. So I just, if
Thank
nothing
you.
else in this interview, I wanted to be able to say that to you.
Mm.
I
Thank
appreciate you so
you.
much. So
I'm
all that you
grateful for
went
that.
through, I know it was hard, but look at all the good that's come out of it.
Thank
So
you. I
that's my
appreciate
vitamin
that.
G story.
Mm. Thank
Now you're
you.
all,
Oh, I know. It makes me want to cry. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve people like you, Ceil, and gives me goosebumps just hearing about it. So I would love to end by you just giving any advice or any message that you would want to share to anyone listening to this who's hesitant or skeptical like you were, or is on the
okay.
fence to getting started, not necessarily with PhD, but just in creating positive change in their lives through dropping weight, but mostly, like you said, it has nothing to do with the weight. That's just a byproduct of getting healthy. What would you tell someone who's skeptical or kind of stuck in a rut?
For walking or exercise or things like that, I always felt like this is a big waste of my time. I've got better things to do. And I saw it as being sort of a narcissistic kind of thing, like, ooh, I'm working on my body, you know?
Mhm.
And my son told me at one point, Mom, it's not about that anymore. It's about your health. And I thought, well, okay, I'll do it for my health. So losing weight is not so much like, look at me, but oh, one of the stories y'all told was about, imagine somebody gave you a car for free. Remember
Yeah.
that story? You can pick out
Mhm.
any car you want, but it's the only one you're ever going to have.
Mhm.
That really resonated with me. Like, this is the only body I've got, and I
Mhm.
need to take care of it. I I feel the same way with my marriage with Wesley. Like, we've been married 52 years, going on 53, and it's the only marriage I want to have, and I want to make it the very best marriage I can. And anyway, that's off subject, but this is the only body you've got. Why spend the only life you've got overweight, unhappy, unhealthy, carrying around two or three of those bags of rocks, you know? And I thought, this isn't doable, and it was. And you know, Sherry's thing, trust the process, keeps going through my brain because it works. It really, really works. And when Wesley said, okay, because as you know, we signed on for the program. At first, my motivation was, well, we paid this money and I'm going to get my money's worth out of
That's
it.
right.
But, so that was a big motivation at first,
Mhm.
because some of the food I didn't like, ew, but then you find the food that you like, and
Yeah.
then you get in a rhythm with the food you're going to cook or prepare, or the foods that you like. But when he said, what's our health worth? And, you know, we spend a lot of money on vitamin supplements and trying to buy
Mhm.
good food and all that, and it's worth it. I can spend it on this, or I can spend it in the hospital having procedures done that maybe I
Mhm.
wouldn't have to if I didn't weigh so much. So it's not 100% a vanity thing, it's a health thing. And this is
Mhm.
my car right here, and I'm going to take good care of it. So that's why I would say it really and truly works. This is from probably your number one skeptic who was proven wrong. It really works, and just stick with it and trust the process, because even when you're going a couple weeks, and that's what's crazy. I mean, to the 10th of a pound, I would be the exact same thing for 2 weeks in a row, and
Mhm.
then down it would go. And Sherry would explain about your metabolism changing and your body
Mhm.
making adjustments and things like that. So I would say definitely it's worth it. I mean, like I say, I'm 72. I'd given up. I just thought, well, the rest of my life I'm going to be tired and dragging around and wearing big fluffy clothes. Those are all gone, by the way.
Thank goodness.
It's
We don't want
worth
those
it.
to come back.
No, never. No, no. I'm shopping totally differently now, and I like it. It's fun. I look in the mirror and it's like, who is that? I never
I love
thought I would be slim again, and that's just really something. But to other people, I would say it really, really works, and you're worth it. And that, for me to hear that, it's like I put everybody else first. I don't put myself first. But sometimes you have to, especially if you've got small children. If you don't
Mhm.
take care of yourself, who's going to take care of them? And so go for it. And I think any money that we spent on your program, we've saved 10 times over at the grocery store, not
Yeah.
buying stuff
And medications
or
and no
medication.
CPAP.
It's so great to close that jar up and put it away.
That's
And I
right.
think I'm to the point, I got a big bag of metformin. I think I'm ready to just go ditch. I was still kind of like, well, what if I need this? I don't need it. It's great. And having your glucose level the same all day long, there are no crashes. Like in the afternoon, I
Mhm.
used to just crash. That
Yeah.
just does not happen anymore. It's just the same. I finally just quit taking it. Like, why am I doing this? It's just always the same. It's always
Mhm.
good. That's
Congratulations, Ceil. I'm proud
thank
of you and I'm grateful for you.
thank you. I'm grateful for you and your whole staff. You're doing great work. And I'm
Thank
a
you, Ceil.
beneficiary of that. And
Thank
my
you.
husband.
Thank you. I hope you loved that episode as much as I did. I so loved speaking with Ceil, and you can see how positive her mindset is and how significantly that impacted her overall success. Remember, you've got to step up to make the change. Lead with your heart, train your mind, and do not negotiate with your body. See you next time.